You're sitting in a room full of people who are going nowhere, and you feel it, that weight, that judgment. Their eyes on you because you're doing something different, something bigger, something they're too afraid to even dream about. And in that moment, in that exact moment, you shrink. You make yourself smaller. You laugh at their jokes even though they're not funny. You pretend to agree with their mediocrity because the alternative is being disliked, being left out, being called too much or too ambitious or weird. But here's what nobody tells you. The people whose approval you're chasing, they're not going anywhere. They're comfortable in their cage, and they need you to stay in yours so they don't have to feel the sting of their own choices. Today, we're breaking that psychological prison. Today, we're talking about the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. You don't need permission to win. There's a verse in Proverbs 29:25 that cuts like a blade. Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe. Let that sink in. Fear of man, not fear of God, not fear of failure, but fear of what other people think is described as a literal trap, a snare, something designed to catch you, to hold you, to keep you immobilized. And I want you to feel the weight of that word, because that's exactly what's happening to you right now. You're caught. You're walking through life with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back, always looking over your shoulder to see who's judging you, who's talking about you, who doesn't like the new version of you that's emerging. This message is for anyone who's felt that suffocating pressure. The young adult who wants to pursue their passion but doesn't because their friends think it's stupid. The entrepreneur who has a vision but keeps it small because everyone around them is playing it safe. The person who's been broken, who's starting to rebuild, but is terrified that standing up will make them a target. This is for you. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. I spent years, literally years, performing for an audience that didn't deserve a front row seat to my life. There were people around me who I thought I needed to keep happy. Friends who got uncomfortable when I started growing. Family members who made subtle comments when I made different choices. Colleagues who rolled their eyes when I talked about bigger dreams. And you know what I did? I shrank. I made jokes about my own ambitions. I played down my wins. I stayed in situations that were killing me because the thought of their disapproval was somehow worse than the reality of my own suffering. I was living in a psychological cage of my own construction, and the bars were made of other people's opinions. But something happened, a breaking point. I realized something that changed everything. The people I was so afraid of disappointing, they weren't even paying attention to their own lives. They were too busy managing their own mediocrity, their own fears, their own compromises. And here's the psychologically profound truth that nobody wants to admit. Misery loves company. Subconsciously, sometimes consciously, the people who aren't going anywhere don't want you to go anywhere either. Because if you leave, if you succeed, if you become the version of yourself that's waiting to be born, it becomes a mirror. It reflects back everything they're not doing, everything they're not becoming, and that's unbearable for them. So they deploy the most insidious weapon available: social pressure, judgment, mockery disguised as humor, concern disguised as care. Oh, you're getting too big for your britches. Who do you think you are? You've changed. Yes, you have changed. You're supposed to change. Growth is change. Think about the people in your life right now, the ones whose opinion you're afraid of losing. Really think about them. Where are they going? What are they built? What are they creating? Or are they simply existing, consuming, complaining, and pulling everyone around them into the same orbit of stagnation? I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because you need to see clearly. You need to understand that you're afraid of the judgment of people who have no authority over your destiny. You're seeking approval from people who are lost themselves. And that, my friend, is psychological suicide in slow motion.
Here's what happens when you understand this at a cellular level. When you really get it. When you stop just knowing it intellectually and start feeling it emotionally. You realize that the fear of being disliked by losers, and I use that word precisely, is actually a compliment disguised as an insult. If mediocre people don't like you, it means you're doing something they're not. It means you're operating at a frequency they can't access. It means you're becoming something they're afraid to become. Jesus understood this. In Matthew 10:34, he says, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword." People misunderstand that verse. They think it's violent. It's not. It's psychological. It's saying that standing for something real, something true, something bigger than the comfort of the status quo, that will create division. Some people will hate you for it, and that's not a bug, that's a feature. That's a sign you're on the right path. The most transformative people in history were disliked by the majority. Jesus was disliked. Galileo was disliked. Every person who ever changed the trajectory of their life was disliked by someone, usually by a lot of someones. And here's the cinematic truth that most people never arrive at. You only have one life. One. You don't get a second shot at this. You don't get to come back and try again with the courage you wish you had today. Every moment you spend performing for people who don't matter is a moment you're not spending becoming who you were meant to be. Every time you make yourself smaller to make someone else comfortable, you're committing a subtle form of self-betrayal. And over time, those betrayals add up. They compound. They become a weight so heavy that you forget what it feels like to be free. But something shifts when you stop asking for permission, when you stop checking in emotionally with people who have no business in your internal world, when you understand that their dislike is not a referendum on your worth, it's a reflection of their own limitations. Your job is not to be liked. Your job is to become, to grow, to move toward the person you're meant to be with a clarity and a conviction that doesn't require applause. And here's where it gets beautiful. Here's where the real transformation happens. When you stop needing their approval, something unexpected occurs. The dynamic shifts entirely. The people worth keeping in your life will respect you more. The ones who were only around because you were convenient, because you were small, because you served their narrative, they'll fade away. And that emptiness, it's not a loss, it's space. Space for the right people. Space for your real tribe. Space for the version of you that was suffocating under the weight of performing for an audience that never deserved the show. So here's what I want you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. I want you to identify one thing you've been afraid to do because of what someone might think. One dream you've been minimizing. One version of yourself you've been hiding. And I want you to make a decision, a conscious, deliberate decision that you're done. You're done shrinking. You're done performing. You're done asking for approval from people who are themselves afraid. Because Proverbs 22:3 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Danger in this case is not the dislike of losers. Danger is staying where you are. Danger is becoming comfortable in your own cage. The prudent move, the wise move, the only move that matters is to choose yourself, to choose your vision, to choose your becoming. The people who matter will follow. The people who don't, they were never yours to keep anyway. Stop being afraid of being disliked by losers. Start being afraid of wasting the one life you've been given. That's your moment. That's now.